Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So here are my top stock picks for 2026, and at the end of the year I will actually reveal the results of how it went. So follow along for my next video. I'm actually going to be recapping how my previous stock picks for 2025 did, but they did pretty well. So the first stock pick for 2026 is Meta stock. So reasons being, it's trading at a great valuation. Market doesn't like the massive capex investment into AI, and it has one of, if not the lowest PE ratios in the Mag 7 at a low 20s. So an attractive risk and reward for the next year. It has excellent management and a really good CEO in Mark Zuckerberg. And the main thing that people are forgetting about the capex is that it's optional. Meta could reduce their capex spending basically whenever they want and explode the free cash flow. So the price to earnings could actually be a lot lower than it is right now. And one thing people are really not giving Meta a lot of credit for is that they had insane growth last quarter. So already establishing they can get high rates of return on their AI spend, as clients will pay more for advertisements if they are more effective. So it's basically a win-win for Meta and their customers that they're selling ads to. And my second pick is Amazon stock, the world's largest startup. So that's my nickname for the company, because at their size, they can reinvest all of their cash flows, which is unusual for a company of their size, and investors want capital returned to them now, not later. So the stock is being punished for this, and it has a low valuation relative to their operating cash flow. This stock could see a Google-like recovery in 2026 as soon as the sentiment shifts towards the positive. And they also are expecting higher margins due to increased automations and efficiencies at the company with their increasing robotics workforce that they are doing. And then my next pick is Hims, which made a giant acquisition to start their Canadian launch for 2026. Did a large acquisition last year to enter the European market. And essentially the discount to Hims is a lack of understanding of the business. A lot of investors and the market in general are saying that it's a GLP-1 company, and it's really not. It's really a healthcare platform, but a large network effect and sticky subscriber base. So I think I could just see this trending upwards, and due to the nature of, receiving medicine and medical care, and people generally need more medicine as they age. If Hims acquires customers over time, the value of the customer keeps increasing, which is only good for Hims in the long term. And I like that to take away a lot of friction in subscribing medication, that people may be embarrassed of, or, just don't really want to openly seek help for, because, maybe they're a little bit embarrassing, or they're just not socially accepted and there's maybe a stigma about it. So I think it's a good company and I really like what they're doing. So that's why I'm investing in it. It did pretty good last year. But I think it can return to all-time highs. It just needs a little bit of a sentiment reset. And as soon as we see that they can increase their growth rates back to old levels, and we're also going to see if these acquisitions really help the business. So they are expanding globally and growing that network effect. So that's the basic thesis for the company. I do think that it's going to have a pretty good 2026 and rebound. So very interested to see how the Canadian market does and the European, because the European market is already profitable for them. It's just accretive to the business. So we'll see how the Canadian launch does, and any other things that can help Hims overall. And my next pick is Netflix. So the stock was doing fine until they wanted to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. So the market has basically punished the stock for this. And until the uncertainty of this acquisition goes away, I believe Netflix will trade in the mid $80 to $90 range. And this is a great time to acquire some shares of the #1 video streaming platform in the world. And if they do indeed land Warner Brothers and acquire them, I don't think they have any competition left for online streaming, as they'd easily have the largest library and massive collection of famous IPs like Harry Potter, Batman, and big HBO hits like Game of Thrones. And my last pick for 2026 is Micron. So it's trading at a very low forward PE of less than 10. And the demand for HBM, or high bandwidth memory, is expected to keep global RAM supply very constricted, as they will have much higher margin, selling at higher prices, not only to big AI companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta. I've already seen consumer RAM has increased in price by 2 to 3x in the last few months. So you might notice that, hey, your laptops, your desktops are getting more expensive on the consumer side because, there's only 3 suppliers of memory in the world, and most of their supply is being allocated to these large hyperscalers. And the fact is that because of that, you're not going to have enough RAM for the average consumer. And all 3 memory makers of SK Hynix, Samsung, and Micron keep reiterating that, they only see demand go up, and they're struggling to meet supply. And the thing is, when they're selling high bandwidth memory to larger companies, they can charge basically whatever they want, because when you are the only supplier, you have everybody demanding all the products. The prices can only go up. So Micron's profits for 2026 are going to go really, really high. And I think the market is, it's had a big run up in price, but I do think that at least for 2026, the demand is not going to ease because, they're trying to, build new factories, but that's going to take a couple years to come online. And we don't know when this RAM shortage is going to end. And for the next 12 months, I think that this has the highest potential upside of any of my picks for 2026. And that's why I have, initiated a position in my own portfolio. So feel free to like the video and subscribe so you can follow along for my portfolio and any updates I do. And in the comments below, just let me know what your top stock picks for 2026 are. And Happy New Year, everybody. And hope you have a good year in the markets.